No.
Yeah.
Получается так, что Arvut вообще заразительная вещь нарушать Arvut. Arvut, нарушение Arvut — это заразительная вещь.
It works out that to break the Arvut is something that's very contagious. Meaning a person that says that you're drilling a hole below you, it works out that by saying that, he's also breaking the Arvut.
How?
Чем нарушает? Но то, что он как бы понижает товарища тоже, он указывает ему на его недостаток, что...
By degrading his friend, putting him down.
Wait a minute. We have to guard the group. Should I not say something to a friend if he's doing something against the group, against the unity? If he's going to make us all drown in the sea, then shouldn't I say anything? Where do you get this Torah from? I don't understand. We have to maintain our boat in order to sail towards the goal. And someone is doing something against it. So we shouldn't awaken these matters. We shouldn't tell him not to do it. To the extent that one does not follow the law of Arvut, he's not my friend anymore. So I address him and I tell him what he's doing. I'm addressing, let's say, the percentages of him that are not being my friend right now, that is an enemy.
Нет, я понимаю, просто наша же задача постоянно поднимать товарищей.
I understand, but we need to always uplift our friend.
That's how I uplift him, in that I'm telling him that obviously he doesn't understand what he's doing, and so I go and explain, by doing this and that, you're damaging the whole group. So if he's not doing it, I'm helping him see what he needs to do, and then he stops bringing harm to the group. That's my goal. My goal is not just to, take him down, but just to help him correct, to show him the corruption. Everyone must do that towards the friend. It's with love on my part, love towards him and towards the group, that I have to do it. So a friend means that whatever he does, if he kills everyone, I have to keep quiet. Once he violates the natural laws, then to that extent he's not my friend, and I actually want to make him my friend again. Okay, let's continue. Yes, Gil?
What's the right way to bring him back to work according to the laws of nature? Because we...
Through the group. Through the group, it's the best, not alone. For that, you need to have the spiritual directorate in the group, which is always in concern and with the hand on the pulse and seeing what's up and what's down and looking at the spiritual, it's the spirit of society and wanting to align everyone and to sort of round everyone.
And if I see a friend or someone waking up, and let's say we're talking about friends, and someone kind of brings up a little bit of the left line, and we feel like he's harming our quality, what do we do?
I think the best thing to do is to run it again through that spiritual directorate and not personally. Personally, you already have some flaw. It casts a flaw in the relationship because we're not corrected, but through the directorate. And the directorate is permitted to demand anything from anyone and so forth. That's how we have to do it. A spiritual government. There have to be, say, 5 people. You had it once, no? We have it? What? So what are they doing?
Are you talking about the spiritual directorate or the directorate that exists?
No, there's the directorate that's, running all kinds of things. I'm saying there have to be 5 people who are only concerned about the well-being of society.
They're in sleep.
You're saying they're in a coma, so we have to wake up another directorate to wake up this new directorate, yeah? Okay, I see.
Arvut is a law of nature that cannot be violated.
No, once Abraham put together the group from those Babylonians and brought them together, the law was at work. That's it. And then, since then, you can't violate it. You may not go according to it, but it still works on you. You can't be exempt from the law. You understand? It's just like you can't transform yourself to something else. You are what you are. In corporeality, what we look at you and see is what you are. That's it. So in the same way, we are in Arvut right now, even though no one knows about it, no one thinks about it, and no one would ever dream of agreeing to something like that. But that's it. Meaning the law of, there's an additional law that applies to the people of Israel, in addition to all the laws that apply to all of humanity and the still vegetative and animate levels. So there are specific laws that work on the human level that don't work on the other levels, and on the Israel part of humanity there is an additional law at work, and it's the law of Arvut and a few other laws that have to do with the attaining the purpose of creation and becoming the passageway for all the rest and so forth. The Arvut is also not just mutual guarantee, Arvut, and that's it. It's not just one thing. It's actually a whole host of conditions that have to do with the purpose of creation and also our responsibility for the nations, towards the nations of the world. That's a part of the Arvut as well. That's what we were chosen to lead this process and so forth. Meaning the Arvut is in fact like a book of laws.
So we can also see this in biology, chemistry, physics, that it's all based on this law. Why over there, in those professions and under those laws, it's something that is sensed as naturally and in a certain harmony and between us?
There, it works without the involvement of the human. It just works by itself. When a mother loves her baby, just like Rabash writes, imagine what would happen if a mother didn't have her natural desire for the baby. What would you do? You'd put an officer that would force her to take care of her baby. It's just like how we have to have this officer forcing us to come to love of others. But we have to grow that officer or policeman within us. We have to grow it within us by ourselves, to be forced to love the others more than ourselves. So, here, on the human level, there is a free choice, where you either take it upon yourself or you don't.
How can we help each other take it?
By setting examples, by the importance of the goal.
So, we have brothers here, we have brothers and sisters in America, all same kind of problems. They kind of disappear as we're going along.
יש לנו חברים פה, יש לנו חברים בצפון אמריקה, עם אותם בעיות בעצם שאנחנו רואים.
Some act out of passion. Some just act out because they don't know better. Either way, it's showing me I'm not doing my part.
יש כאלה שפועלים מתוך איזה passion, יש כאלה שפועלים מתוך תשוקה, יש כאלה שפועלים ככה סתם, אבל בכל מקרה אני רואה שזה קשור אליי. שזה כן, שאני לא עושה את התפקיד.
So, what do I need to do to help them? Because I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Otherwise, this wouldn't be happening.
אז מה אני צריך לעשות כדי לעזור להם? כי כנראה שאני לא עושה את מה שמוטל עליי, אחרת זה לא היה קורה.
According to the law of Arvut, each and every one influences each other in everything. We are not capable of seeing the endless connections that are between us, the different strings that run from each other, from one to another, and throughout all of humanity. There's more of a hierarchy from more external than the more internal ones, because until the final correction, because when that happens, in the final correction, it will happen in a whole manner, in such a way. What can a person do in the most beneficial way in order to cause all the system to advance towards its correct state? That's actually dissemination. Dissemination. Well, it depends what you're disseminating. The time will come when we disseminate more delicate things, more internal things. We will learn about the connections between us. We will discover the connections between us. For the time being, we're disseminating just the importance of correction, the importance of the change in a grand manner, to come from hatred to love, as this stands before us, and kind of in a general manner, a general change. That if we don't come to love, we will eat, from hatred to love, we will eat each other up. And how should we say this? All the emergence from where we are in the ever-increasing crisis and so on, we have only one way to come out of it, and it's to come to love between human beings. And we're not capable of reaching that love, but there's a special force in nature which helps us with this, which brings us love. That's it. By us uniting together in tens and so on, we can begin to get to know this force of love, which is there in a concealed manner. It's not in connection in a concealed way. It's revealed only in connection, because it's a force which is associated with bestowal. And the force of bestowal, you can discover only in a connection, in a unity, because it's mutual bestowal. Therefore, if you take a few people and you connect between them, then in such relationships you can discover that between you appears all of a sudden some new force, this general common force, the force of bestowal, of love, of connection, and so on. And this is something you can publicize. This is the only correct action that we can do, to show everyone that there is a force of connection, a force of bestowal and love in the world. And it's against the force of reception, the force of ego, which for the time being rules us. So if we will start to play in that we want to be in this force of bestowal, we want to connect, let's talk about this, let's raise this, and so on and so forth, it will appear amongst us more and more, and we will feel that it's truly wrapping us, and it begins changing us. This is called that you come from lo lishma to lishma. That's in order, that's how the wisdom of Kabbalah tells us to operate. Yes.
And for the disruptors, we'll call them, the ones that can't get out of their own ego bullshit.
ומה לגבי המפריעים נקרא להם, אלה שלא מצליחים לצאת מהאגו שלהם וכולי?
אני לא יודע, אני לא מסתכל על אף אחד.
I don't know. I don't look at anyone. They can come out of it, they can't. They can't, I don't know. I need to bestow as much as possible to the whole world and to advertise to the whole world what the future of the world is and what can be done in the best possible way, so it'll be very good. I'm not going to do any kind of calculations with anyone. No one is alone, as we see here with the rule of the law of Arvut. Everyone is connected to everyone with all of this general opinion Each will influence in the way of his state. I don't relate to anyone in a personal manner. I let the upper light, this force of bestowal, to appear from above, kind of like to gush outwards, kind of like water that are rising and from below up.
So in essence,
that's it.
All of our dealings with whether it be a brother here in front of me or a brother online, we're basically to follow the rules of the workshop at all times.
אז בעצם לסכם, לא משנה אם מדובר בחבר פה פיזית או בחבר וירטואלי, אנחנו צריכים ללכת לפי כללי הסדנה בכל רגע?
כן, שכל העולם יהיה כסדנה אחד.
And by doing that,
yes, so that the whole world will be as one workshop.
People that, okay, look, you're following out the rules. Let's get back in.
אז הוא שואל בעצם, אז אם יש את האנשים, את המפריעים האלה, אז רק להזכיר להם שזה הכללים, ובואו נחזור לכללים.
החברה ישפיע עליהם, האור העליון ישפיע עליהם, לא עליי לתקן אנשים.
The society will influence them, the upper light will influence them. It's not on me to correct people, it's upon me just to bring as much as possible the surrounding light to the world. Thus, that's how each and every one of us needs to think. That's it. And how onwards the light influences each and every one, I am not responsible for that. And I am not allowed to get into corrections of others. That's it. Where are we?